Hey, what's up guys, it's at East, one half of the Horror Highway. Welcome to Kitchen Nightmares Darkest Iceberg. I'm sorry if the video feels a little rushed. While making it, I had two major problems. Not like with the video, but like life in general. So sorry if it feels rushed. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if I missed anything or anything that you think should be on here. Also, before we get on, sorry about that, I would like to post this Reddit screenshot about a Kitchen Nightmares iceberg I found and used to get a lot of the entries. The OP for this iceberg was deleted. I would like to shout him out, but I don't know who it is. So I mean, if you're out there and you know and you made the picture, shout out to you. I used a lot of your entries to make my own. I added some of my own as well. So yeah, I got inspiration for this video by probably 4 or 5 months ago. I was on a Kitchen Nightmares watching spree and decided to, it would be a good video, this video. So I made it. Anyways, on with the video. Layer 1. Restaurants that closed. So for this entry, I'm using a website/article called Kitchen Nightmares Open or Closed. There's a total of 117 restaurants featured on all incarnations of the show, 89 of which have now closed, making it a 76% of those restaurants having been closed. Restaurants still open. So again, for this entry, I'm using the same article as the previous entry, Kitchen Nightmares Open or Closed. Only 28 restaurants are still open, or 24%. Here's the list. Basque 46, Bel Air Diner, In the Drink, Da Mimo, The Juicy Box, El Cantito Cafe, South Brooklyn Foundry, Max Bar and Grill, D1, Sandgate Hotel, it recently reopened after an owner change, The Walnut Tree Inn, Silversmith Kitchen, The Fenwick Arms, which reopened in June 2013, Spin a Yarn Steakhouse, Yanni's Greek Restaurant, Luigi's d'Italia, Lido di Manhattan, Pantaleone, La Bistro, Leone's Restaurant, Old Hitching Post, Oceana Grill, Spanish Pavilion, The Greek at the Harbor, Miss Jean's Southern Cuisine, La Rivera, Momma Cherri's. This refers to Season 2, Episode 3 of Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares, which is the UK version of the show. In this episode, we see that Gordon actually does like the food, and he returned the plate empty. While the place did have good food, it eventually did shut down in 2009. Gordon did revisit her restaurant 2 years later, and was a bit disappointed, and he did try to help her. And Momma Cherri now, since the restaurant has closed, does cooking/food content on YouTube. She also managed to bring it back as a pop-up last year in 2023. The Greek at the Harbor. I'll be honest, the only reason this is even on the iceberg is because the owner's son, Aris Michelados, we share the same name, and I just thought it was cool. It's just that our names are said differently since mine is in Spanish and his is in Greek, but it is spelled the same. They are one of the restaurants that are still open, and they were renamed as the Greek Ventura. So yeah, shout out to Aris. Different versions of the show. As said earlier, Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares, which is just the same show, but it was based in the UK. It first broadcasted in 2004 and ended in 2009. In 2014, Ramsay's Costa del Nightmares aired, and it was basically Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares, the previous one. Obviously, we also have the American version, Kitchen Nightmares. There's also 24 Hours to Hell and Back. It is a very similar concept to the other shows, but instead of a week of helping the owners out, the restaurant only gets 24 hours to turn around. The show aired on Fox from June 13th, 2018 to May 12th, 2020. Then there was also Hotel Hell, which is basically the same show, but instead of helping out a restaurant, Gordon helps a hotel. This show ran from August 13th, 2012 to July 26th, 2016. Chef Mike. This is a nickname given to a chef. This chef is someone who you don't want to push their buttons, and you only have to pay Chef Mike once. His real name is Chef Microwave. Yeah, many of the restaurants that are failing on the show do use Chef Mike, hence why he's on this iceberg. How Gordon smells. So I was on Reddit looking for info and just things for this iceberg, and I come across this thread. I thought it was funny, so I added it on here. The OP claims that they were on a Kitchen Nightmares episode, and that they don't want to be weird, but Gordon smells good. The comments on the thread say that Gordon wears Creed Aventus, so yeah, if anyone wonders how Gordon smells, I guess Creed Aventus is the cologne he uses. Hello, my name's Nino. I'm not gonna say it like he did. This is a meme that comes from the 76th episode of Kitchen Nightmares. It aired on February 22nd, 2013. Michael, who is Nino's brother and helps at the restaurant, tells Gordon that Nino doesn't do crap here. And then, in one of the most memorable moments of Kitchen Nightmares history, said that the previous night he went from table to table and said, "Hello, my name's Nino." Finally, some good food. It's a meme that got really popular in the summer of 2017. Even though the line comes from season 5, episode 1 of Kitchen Nightmares, Gordon goes to the restaurant named Blackberries. The episode aired September 23rd, 2011. He said this because in all the meals that he ate at the place, he only liked the cake made by the mother of the owners. Layer 2. Amy's Baking Company. Yeah, I mean, if you've seen the show, you know about this one. It's one of the most known episodes of the series. It's the 16th episode of the 6th series, and the 82nd episode of the whole series. The restaurant was ran by Amy and Sammy Bozalgo, and it was in Scottsdale, Arizona. The episode was the first and only time that Gordon Ramsay would not complete the restaurant's transformation, because the owners would fight with both Gordon and anyone who went into the place. It did have a follow-up episode around a year later for the season premiere of season 7. Sammy claimed that he invested over $1 million to help his wife Amy fulfill her dreams. Amy claims that all the reviews put out against them are all lies. The reviews called out the owner's actions and the food. If you've seen the episode that they're in, then you know how they act. They're straight assholes. They take the tips that the waiters receive. They argue with customers who have valid criticisms. They even argued with Gordon, and he was trying to help them, and they just couldn't take the valid criticisms. Overall, they were just assholes who absolutely deserved to have the restaurant closed. Grilled Caesar salad. This refers to season 5 episode 10, Park Edges episode, in which this abysmal concoction was made, a grilled Caesar salad. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Restaurants that closed before the episode aired. It's literally what the title says. Season 8 episode 6, restaurants Love Bites Cafe closed before the episode aired. Season 5 episode 8, El Greco also closed before the episode aired. Season 4 episode 3, PJ's Steakhouse / PJ's Grill also closed before the episode aired. Season 3 episode 11, Sushi Co. and Season 2 episode 10, Fiesta Sunrise closed before the episodes aired. Speaking of Fiesta Sunrise. Fiesta Sunrise. This is on here due to the owner. It became infamous for its dirty kitchen, bad food that was not being sold, so it got old fast, with a bunch of extra food in the fridges that wasn't being used, and an extremely incompetent husband who was not only stupid, but was running the place to the ground. Throughout the episode, each time when Gordon thought that they could finally move forward, he would find more things that are wrong with the restaurant. That husband also tried to have more restaurants like his first one, Fiesta Garibaldi, and he used a lot of the stuff from Fiesta Garibaldi for Fiesta Sunrise, which, I mean, if it didn't work the first time, why reuse the things and just basically have the same restaurant? And to me, that's just a stupid decision. Owners in denial. Many of the owners are in denial that the restaurant / food is the issue why the restaurant is failing, and they don't want to change, which usually ends up with them arguing with Gordon. For the most part, they turn around and accept it, but in a place like Amy's Baking Company, it is like an exception to it. Kitchen Nightmares Revisited. This refers to the revisited episodes of Kitchen Nightmares, which is all mostly just reused footage to like the last 10 to 8 minutes of the episode, which do add some more new things, like Gordon revisiting the restaurant that the episode is focusing on, and just seeing how it went. Gordon spits out food. So, I'm not too sure what to even make of this entry. It was just on the Iceberg that I kind of used to make my own. I just think it refers to the times that Gordon has to spit out food that was served to him. So yeah. Layer 3. Belly dancing. There's actually 2 different occasions that this happened on a restaurant on the show. One of them being at the Greek at the Harbor, and the other being at the Prohibition Grill, and I'm pretty sure that this entry is referring to the latter. The owner of the Prohibition Grill, Rishi Brown, was a professional belly dancer before owning the restaurant. During the service, she would belly dance for all her customers. Also, the belly dancing does not go with the theme of the restaurant, and yeah, it's just pretty odd. So, fresh frozen. I don't really know what this means. Some people on Reddit think that it means that it was made fresh and that it was immediately frozen right afterwards. And others think that the ingredients were bought fresh but were frozen. I can't really tell you what it means. It could be both. It could be something else. I don't know. Thin crust pizza. I am assuming that this refers to the quote-unquote thin crust pizza that the restaurant Pantaleone served to Gordon. The thin crust was actually the size of a baguette, and just seeing that makes me wonder how big the crust of a normal sized pizza would be. 86. It is an English slang used to indicate that an item is no longer available, traditionally from a food or drinks establishment. So yeah, this gets used a decent amount on the show, that's why it's on here. The restaurant is full because of Chef Ramsay is in town. This refers to the actors that play diners on the show. There's an actress on the screen right now, and she is on 13 different episodes of the show. But yeah, it kind of makes sense. I mean, they're not really... I don't know if they exaggerate their takes on the restaurant they're in or not. But it also does make sense that, like, I mean, if the restaurant isn't going to be full, might as well hire some people to order food and taste the food and see what their reactions are. So yeah, Burger Kitchen. Probably some of the most evil parents to ever appear on the show. They stole $250K from their own son to open the restaurant, forcing him to be a owner of it. The owners did try to gaslight Gordon throughout the whole episode, saying things that, especially the mom, she claims that the chef was bullying her and stuff, and just how she was the victim in all of this, and it's not her fault at all. The owners also don't let the head chef make any food. They had a food battle, right? Food war. The head chef made his own burger, the dad made his own burger, and the head chef won, but the mom was also trying to gaslight everyone at that point as well, saying that, what's the strong taste I'm tasting? And yeah, they're just terrible people. The dad also tries to promote his book during the episode. And yeah, there's more about his dad later on in the video, so yeah, stay tuned. Pink Flamingo. I think this refers to Cafe Hun, which had a giant flamingo on top of the restaurant. The restaurant was located in Baltimore, and apparently flamingos are heavily associated with Baltimore. I'm not too sure, I don't live there. So yeah, the owner of Cafe Hun also tried to copyright the word Hun, which is used a lot in Baltimore, according to the episode. And after she did that and tried to sue someone, Baltimore just turned its back against her. And by the end of the episode, she went on a radio show and explained how she's gonna revoke the copyright of the word and it's not for her to own anymore. Chefs that were fired on the show. So sous chef Charles and chef Doug were both fired from Seascape on the show after Gordon tells the owners that they don't care about the restaurant. PJ Steakhouse also fired their chef, Chef Eric, after he walked out at the dinner service. The Burger Kitchen's owner fired the chef, Chef David. This one's a bit sad because Chef David actually impressed Gordon with his cooking, but he wasn't able to do his cooking at the restaurant. Towards the end, when Chef David gets fired by the son, he comes back for his final paycheck because the restaurant does not pay him most of the time. Casa Roma's owners fired Chef Eric. Jesus, 2 Chef Erics getting fired. They're going 2 for 2 right now. The owners of Charlie's Italian Bistro fired their head chef, Casimiro. The owner was friends with him for 10+ years, which did lead to a lot of speculation on some other things, which that will be later on in the video though. The owner of Layla's fired their sous chef Buzzard. Chef Rocky was also fired from the Prohibition Grill. And the worst fire of all time, the owner of El Greco fired Chef Mike. Yeah, I read my boy Chef Mike. Martin tried to sue Gordon. This refers to Martin Hyde, who was a manager at restaurant Dillion's during the episode. Martin claims that he was singled out as a scapegoat for the restaurant's problems that were discovered after Gordon and his crew walked in, and that he did not have no role in the restaurant's incapabilities. He claimed that the TV show wrecked his life. Eventually, the case was dismissed because his contract stated that he first had to go through arbitration first, and he didn't, so it was just dismissed in total. The dead lobster. The dead lobster was found in a lobster tank in the restaurant at the Spanish Pavilion. The dead lobster would go and contaminate the rest of the other lobsters in the tank, which just pissed off Gordon in the episode. Layer 4. Tatiana and Casimiro affair. This refers about a theory that the owner of Charlie's Italian Bistro and the head chef had an affair. This was thought of because of how the owner treats the head chef. I don't think that they actually had an affair. I believe that she treated him like that because they have been friends for 10 plus years. And yeah, I feel like anyone would treat friends that they've known for that long similar. Oceana, Lost Media. This refers to the episode in which Gordon Ramsay goes to help Oceana. Before the episode aired, the owners, brothers Rami and Mo Batter, sued, worried about how their restaurant would be represented. They finally agreed to a settlement in which they would have to pay $10,000 every time a clip of their show was aired, and an update about the restaurant would also be included. Everything seemed settled, but then a scene from the episode was posted on the Kitchen Nightmares Facebook page in 2018 with no update. Oceana sued again, claiming that the show not only violated their agreement, but producers went beyond their creative liberty, manufacturing fake scenes to portray Oceana Grill in a false light. This caused Kitchen Nightmares to stop using clips/posting the episode, making it nearly impossible to find. I'm sure you could find it if you really tried, but it's not on the YouTube. The season of which this episode is in, the Kitchen Nightmares YouTube channel uploads whole seasons of Kitchen Nightmares, and in the season that this episode features in, it's just not even in that episode at all, or that YouTube video at all. 700 Day Special. This refers to the special of La Galleria 33, and as the name of the entry suggests, it has been going on for more than 2 years. The special was seafood ravioli. Sammy's arrest record. This is about Sammy from Sabatiello's. After his restaurant closed, he would go back to the property and destroy and vandalize it. He caused $20,000 in damages. After that, he was charged with felony larceny. He was given $20,000 on a credit card to host a Christmas party at his restaurant right before the restaurant would close. So the people that bought a Christmas party just didn't get it because the restaurant just didn't exist. Momma Rita's debt. This refers to the debt that the owner of Momma Rita's went in due to opening the restaurant. The owner, Laura, was close to $2 million in debt. Laura was not doing herself any favors by hiring Perla. In my mind, if you're going to spend that much money on a restaurant, then why not spend some of it for a great chef? And yeah, I don't want to be mean, but even if she does consider Perla family, this probably would have been avoided if she would have hired a good chef. Fiesta Sunrise stabbing. This did not involve anyone who worked/owned the restaurant. It was just an incident that happened in the parking lot of the restaurant before it eventually closed down. So yeah, someone was stabbed in the parking lot of Fiesta Sunrise. Kitchen Nightmares crew stole from Joe. This entry is about the owner of the Mill Street Bistro, Joe Nagy. After the production team of Kitchen Nightmares left the restaurant, Joe would fire half of his staff, including the aspiring chef Tommy. He also pressed charges against the production team for petty theft and damaging his property. Gordon would eventually agree to pay Joe $1,500 USD for their mistakes. Peter's involvement with the mob. This refers to Peter Pellegrino, who was the brother of the owner of Peter's Italian restaurant, Tina. Peter was involved with the Bonanno crime family. He was an unlicensed bookmaker for the Bonanno family and was known as Peter Pasta. After the episode aired, he had a falling out with a relative, and then that relative would tell a lot of people that Peter was an informant for the FBI. This isn't really known if it's true or not, but it did annoy the Bonannos enough to cut ties with him. Layer 5. Amy and Sammy divorce. So this refers to Amy and Sammy from Amy's baking company. So while looking through the Kitchen Nightmares subreddit, I found out that they divorced back in 2021, and Sammy was deported back to Israel. And apparently, Amy still bakes, and she did do a photo shoot for Vogue. Sammy now says that she turned into a WHORENLA. I don't really know how to feel about both of these people. They're both terrible people. I don't know. Gentle Satan. One of the owners of Burger Kitchen wrote this book, The Dad. The book talks about his father, who was one of Australia's most notorious crime bosses, and was trying to force him into joining the family business. Not only that, but while the dad, which I forgot his name, I'm sorry, was explaining how he was a terrible dad, he was just being extremely hypocritical because he basically did similar things to his own son. His father was Abraham Gilver Saffron, or quote-unquote Gentle Satan. Trevor's drug problem. Trevor was the former head chef for Manja Manja. I say former because he was fired. He was fired due to them finding out about his methamphetamines problem. Back in 2015, his father posted an update on Facebook. It seems now that he recovered from his addiction, but congrats to him for beating his addiction. But during the episode, it came out that he tried to punch another coworker who was the daughter of the owner, and in that episode he also explains that she was just trash talking him, so he threatened to punch her. Mama Maria. In this episode, Gordon visits Mama Maria's. A guest would eat an old rotten lobster during the episode. The owner, John, would have to call an ambulance for him. He would also serve a non-vegetarian dish, even though she ordered that and it was advertised as a vegetarian meal. Also during that episode, Gordon would find a kitchen with rotten food being used. After the paramedics came and took the person that ate the rotten lobster away, he would tell the owner to just immediately close down the restaurant for the night, and so the owner did. Gordon ruined my business. This is about owner/chef John Chapman, who owned Chappie's before it shut down. He said this: "It was truly a kitchen nightmare for me. Gordon Ramsey destroyed my business. It was a confrontation from the get-go." So yeah, I believe that this is such a delusional take. His restaurant was already failing, and he or someone close to him called Gordon to try and help him and have a better chance of success. In this case, it did not work out, like 70-80% of the restaurants that appear on the show, but at least he got help and tried to make it a success. Sabatiello's credit card fraud. I referenced this earlier in the video. Sammy from Sabatiello's, right before his restaurant would shut down, decided to accept a $20,000 Christmas party, knowing damn well that his restaurant would not exist by then. He would be charged with felony larceny, and yeah, just a dickhead move if you ask me. I guess he needed the money, but why would he think that this wouldn't come back to bite him in the ass? Layer 6. Danilla Bayfield. She was the owner of La Gondola. Even though Gordon tried to help her and her restaurant, it sadly closed only a year later. She ended up passing away in July 2019 in her sleep. William Leroy. He was the owner of the restaurant The Handlebar. Gordon would help him turn their restaurant around, and with this help, they turned into a gastropub. Gordon also did a revisited episode on the restaurant and was proud on the progress they made. The restaurant was going well and making him money. Sadly, he did end up having to sell his restaurant in 2009 so that he could help pay off his cancer treatment. He ended up passing away in 2015 after a long battle with cancer. This one's a really sad case, at least to me, because it looked like the restaurant was doing a lot better after the help from Gordon, and it's just sad that he had to sell it and had that long battle with cancer. Rosemary Leone, founder of the restaurant Leone's. She passed away on April 5th, 2014. During the episode that this restaurant was featured in, they claimed that 2 years before Gordon's visit, she had gone into a coma from an operation that went bad. She was adored by her staff, and they all praised her and her hard work ethic. When her son took over, he did it very lazily, and when the staff saw that, they quickly followed in his footsteps and just became lazy. Luckily, this is one of the success stories from the show. Even though Rosemary has passed, I'm sure she would be proud how her restaurant turned out and how it's still going on today. Alan Saffron. So yeah, I didn't remember his name earlier, but he is also on here. He was one of the owners of Burger Kitchen, the dad to be precise. As much as I didn't like him during the episode and now, because of what he did to his son, I still don't want to be disrespectful about someone's passing. He died from a heart attack back in April of 2020. He was also apparently a talent manager and worked on the beginning of the Saw franchise. He was also once the owner of Polaris Entertainment. He did end up falling back and giving the restaurant responsibilities to his son Daniel, but the restaurant ended up closing its doors on February 2012. I mean, the world was going to end back in 2012, so I guess either way it would have failed, right? Haha, sorry about that. Joseph Cerniglia. 3 years after he first appeared on Gordon's Kitchen Nightmares, he was the owner of Campania. The 39-year-old owner of Campania was found dead. His body was pulled from the Hudson River after a witness reported seeing a man jump from George Washington Bridge. On September 2010, Joe sold the restaurant to Campania Holding Corp. 8 days later, Joseph Cerniglia committed suicide by jumping off the George Washington Bridge into the Hudson River. It later emerged that he was in a relationship with Jessica, a pastry chef who worked for the restaurant, and not the waitress with the same name that appeared in the episode, which does get commonly confused. Hey, what's up guys, it's Aris again. Outro time. I just would like to thank you guys for watching the video if you made it this far. Comment cryptid in the comment section if you made it this far. It'd be really cool. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Check out our horror story channel, Horror Highway Stories, if you like horror stories. Yeah, thank you for watching and I hope you have a good day.